On this edition of Early Look, I'm going to be previewing the middleweight title fight headlining UFC 328 coming up here May 9th in New Jersey. My name is James Lynch. If you've never watched the show before, I'm going to go through a bunch of different stats and intangibles, and then I'm going to give you my prediction for this fight at the end. Let me know in the comments after you're done watching the video what your prediction is for this fight. Would love to hear from you. And like we always do on this show, we'll do a quick tale of the tape between ththese two. Khamzat Chimaev, 15-0, undefeated, taking on 30-7 Sean Strickland, 32 years old to 35, 6'2" to 6'1", 75 to 76. So Sean Strickland with a little bit of a reach advantage. Chimaev's an inch taller. Sean Strickland, a couple years older here, about 3 total on Khamzat Chimaev. But let's start first with the current middleweight champion, Khamzat Chimaev. Of course, winning the title in his last fight against Dricus du Plessis. So you can see Boar's there, 15-0. And of course, this is the main event. It will be a 5-round fight, and it's going to be taking place at the Prudential Center in New Jersey. So you can see it there, Chimaev, 15-0. He's got 6 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 2 decisions. He's 32 years old, 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. So he's 3 years younger, has a 1-inch height advantage in this fight. He is 3 years younger as well than Sean Strickland. He's a BJJ black belt. He's currently the middleweight champion in the UFC. He's tied with Demetrius Johnson for 4th most takedowns landed in a UFC title fight at 12 versus Dricus du Plessis. He's the first Chechenian-born fighter to win a UFC championship. He's got Fight of the Night 1 time and Performance of the Night 6 times. Not going to go through all those because that would take too long. Made his amateur debut way back in September of 2017. Made his pro debut in May of 2018. Made his UFC debut in July of 2020. He's 9-0 in the UFC. He's got 6 stoppage victories. Some notable wins include Li Jingliang, Gilbert Burns, Kevin Holland, Kamaru Usman, Robert Whittaker, and Dricus du Plessis. He has never lost, so no notable losses. He's never had any major injuries. He had COVID, obviously. That was well documented as far as some of the time he's missed. And he's had a couple layoffs in his career after starting his UFC career off very quickly. Going from Gerald Meerschaert to Li Jingliang, there was a 406-day layoff. Going from Kevin Holland to Kamaru Usman, there was also a 406-day layoff. Going from Kamaru Usman to Robert Whittaker, there was a 371-day layoff. Going from Whittaker to DDP, there was a 325-day layoff. And then going from DDP to Strickland, there's just a 297-day layoff. So one of the shorter layoffs he's had going into a fight when he does fight Sean Strickland. He's had 2 close fights in his career. We'll go over them both. The first one is the Gilbert Burns fight way back in April of 2022. That was... it was a unanimous decision, but some people felt it was closer than it needed to be. But the media scorecards for this one tell a different story. If you go look on MMADecisions.com, which is where the media can add their scorecards for the fight, you will see that in the Gilbert Burns fight, despite fans saying, oh, it was close or could have gone the other way, the majority of media did score this fight for Khamzat Chimaev. You can see just one media member scoring the fight for Burns, everyone else scoring at 29-28. So it wasn't 30-27. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. The other fight that people talk about was Kamaru Usman. That was a majority decision win for him there. You'll see this one a little bit closer. We had 4 people call a draw. 4 people call it for Usman, but majority did have it for Chimaev. In fact, we had 4 media members score it 30-27, one having it 30-26. That's Jake Noaker from Home of Fight who had that. So that's kind of interesting. Let's look at Chimaev's stats. Very impressive here. Significant strikes landed per minute is 4.04. His striking accuracy is at 60%. Interestingly enough, this kind of stood out to me. His striking defense is at 43%. That's pretty low, actually. I don't know what fight that was based off of. Might be the Burns or Usman one. I can't remember. But yeah, that's pretty low for his stats there. His takedown average, so look at this, 5.29. Takedown accuracy is at 55%. His takedown defense is at 85%, although I doubt Strickland shoots for a takedown here, and the sub average is 1.8. So that is pretty much everything we've got going on with the Chimaev as far as his stats go. Now let's take a closer look at Sean Strickland, the challenger, the former middleweight champion, Sean Strickland. So let's have a look at him. So you can see it there, 30-7 record. He is got 12 knockouts, 4 submissions and 14 decisions, currently ranked number 3 in the middleweight division. He is 35 years old, 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. He's a BJJ black belt and trains out of Extreme Couture. He was the 1-time UFC middleweight champion. He got Fight of the Night 1 time against Dricus du Plessis. He's got Performance of the Night 4 times against Brendan Allen, Abus Magomedov, Israel Adesanya, and most recently Anthony Hernandez. Did not have an amateur debut. Went straight to the pros way back in March of 2008. Made his UFC debut in March of 2014. It's crazy to think it's been that long, and that was at welterweight. People forget Strickland started his career off as a 170er in the weight class. He is 17-7 in the UFC. He's got 5 stoppage victories. Some notable wins include Brendan Allen, Jack Hermanson, Nasruddin Imavov, Israel Adesanya, Paulo Costa, and Anthony Hernandez. Some notable losses include Santiago Ponzinibbio, Kamaru Usman, Aleksandr Dos Santos, Alex Pereira, Jared Cannonier, Dricus du Plessis, and 2 losses to Dricus du Plessis as well. He's had a couple layoffs. We're not going to go through all of them. The only layoff that was really significant, if you remember, he got in that motorcycle accident back in 2018. He had a 735-day layoff going from Taleb to Jack Marshman. Since then, been pretty active. The last fight he went into against Hernandez, there was a decent layoff there, almost a year. You can see there going from du Plessis to Hernandez, there was about more than a year layoff there. So that was February 2025 to February 2026. Going from Hernandez to Chimaev, there was a 77-day layoff. Actually, I got the exact number. It's 378 days between du Plessis and Hernandez. And then this fight, it's only 77 days. So nice turnaround here for Strickland, who just defeated Anthony Hernandez back in February. That was a really impressive performance, dominated the fight, getting the 3rd round finish in that one. He's had a couple close fights. We won't go through all of them, but the one that people talk about is the first DDP fight. That was at UFC 297 in Toronto back in January 2024. If you look at it there, 13 media members scored the fight for DDP, 10 scored it for Strickland. So again, a little bit closer than it needed to be. There was also the Jared Cannonier fight as well that people talk about that he lost back in 2022. 13 media members scored the fight for Cannonier, 7 scored it for Strickland. So again, majority did feel like it went the right way. Let's look at the stats here for Strickland. Significant strikes landed per minute is actually higher than Chimaev, 6.04. His striking accuracy is lower, though, at 42%. His striking defense is at 60%, so he doesn't get hit that much. Takedown average is 0.71 compared to, what was it, 5 for Chimaev. Takedown accuracy is at 64%. Takedown defense is at 76%. That'll certainly get tested in this spot. And we saw the takedowns that Chimaev was able to get on DDP, so that was certainly interesting there. Let's have a look at the odds right now. Most having it, so Chimaev, big favorite here. Minus 520, minus 500 on most books. So you get Betway having it at minus 450. Sean Strickland, the comeback, plus 350, plus 325 around there. So Strickland being counted out a bunch. If you look on Tapology as far as the fan voting, again, doesn't cost you anything to do that. This is, people aren't betting any money here. 78% of people picking Chimaev, 22% picking Strickland. Majority of people picking Chimaev by submission at 56.8. And the people picking Strickland, 57.3 by decision and 41.4 by KO TKO. And over on our AI app, Fight Signal, where they use AI to determine fights. If you go look here, where are we here? We are looking for Chimaev Strickland. You go clicking it there. They favor Chimaev at only 55.12%, 44.88 for Strickland. I will do a full AI breakdown of this fight closer to fight time, so keep that in mind too. So again, everything leaning towards Chimaev in that. All right, which way am I going in this one? Well, I don't think Sean Strickland will have lightning strike twice. Of course, he got that big upset over Israel Adesanya a couple years ago. I think Chimaev's going to win. However, I don't think he's going to finish Strickland. We looked at the fan voting here. Majority of fans do feel it'll be by submission. He's fighting a guy in Sean Strickland who has never been submitted in his career. And you look at all the fights he's had, 37 total. I don't know if Chimaev will be able to do it. But we'll see, though, because he wasn't able to submit DDP. We'll see how Strickland's submission defense is, but I think it'll be a little bit better. So a couple of reasons why I think decision and not finish. Let's go with this. Like I mentioned there, Strickland never been submitted in 37 career fights. He's got 76% takedown defense, so I think his takedown defense will be better than what we saw against DDP. Although saying that, Chimaev did make DDP look really average, and DDP obviously, or below average, I should say, and DDP obviously beat Strickland twice. Strickland's been knocked out 2 times. The first one, so knockout could happen too, right? People could say knockout. We do have some people picking knockout, just 5% saying knockout. That might happen. Strickland has been knocked out before, but a little bit of context helps, right? So one of his knockout losses was against Aleksandr Dos Santos. It was a spinning heel kick and punches. It was a TKO finish. And also keep in mind how much weight Strickland was cutting at 170. I think he was a little bit more susceptible to getting knocked out by then. So there was that one. The other knockout loss was Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira's knocking out everyone. I don't really put Chimaev in the same category as Pereira with knockout power. Maybe we could make that argument, but Strickland had just a terrible game plan in that fight, trying to strike with a former glory kickboxer champion. So don't know if that'll happen either. So that's another reason why I'm leaning submission. Chimaev has gone the distance in 3 of his last 5 fights. Let's not forget about that. As great as he looked in that last fight, that was also a decision. He did finish Whitaker, but Usman was a decision. Holland's been submitted a handful of times, and he also went the distance with Burns. So yeah, 3 of his last 5, he has gone the distance. Strickland, I don't think will submit him. and he likely won't knock him out. Strickland did get a TKO win in his last fight, but that's not really typical for Strickland. He himself, if you look at his last 5 fights, only got 1 finish there. If you want to go in his last 6, he's only got 2 finishes in his last 6 fights. That's not a good ratio for him to finish Chimaev. So like, I don't really see, like, you're almost banking on a Strickland decision if he was to win, and I just don't know if that's going to happen here. Again, Chimaev, very strong, very active, very fast. We know he's got the cardio now to go 5 rounds, so I just don't see it boding very well. I think the overall thing here is I just think Chimaev is like a freak athlete. He's too big, too strong, will get it done. I know height and reach-wise, he's not that much bigger. I mean, they're pretty much the same size, but it's just I think Chimaev's going to be a lot stronger, despite the fact that he did used to fight at 170, but so did Strickland. And I know Strickland's been more of a mainstay in the weight class, but I think Chimaev's just going to be too big, too strong. But I think Strickland will do better than DDP. I do. I think styles make fights. I think just because he beat him there, that's something that could happen. But yeah, I certainly think that that this is a fight that Chimaev will win, and I don't think I'm saying anything crazy here. And that's the way I'm going in this fight. So I guess I should say I think most people are going to be picking Chimaev here. So if you are picking Strickland, tell me how you think he's going to win. How do you think he gets it done? If you are picking Chimaev by finish, let me know how you think he gets it done. Would love to hear from you. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. This is Early Look, where I preview all the upcoming notable fights. I'll be coming back with another edition of this pretty soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll talk to you guys soon. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching.